What's good, beautiful people? This is Daniel Monge here from Rolling Up Entertainment. Today we have our first guest on the show, a rising artist from Perth, Australia, here with the young team. This man right here, he's making history as we speak, not only as an Australian artist, but to the whole music industry in general. He's known for his versatility in rapping, in producing, in mixing, mastering, in writing all his music. As a multi-instrumentalist, he does it all, and he's going even more. He's raising the bar even further. In my eyes, this man right here has the energy to be the next global superstar, and I mean that.
Man, appreciate it, bro.
It's my humbling privilege. Don't let me finish, man. Let me finish. My humbling privilege to let me fucking introduce Jaycee and the young team to the building, bro.
Respect, bro. That was very flattering, and I'm humbled just by that introduction. Thank you, my man.
Oh man, welcome back to
Good
Melbourne.
to be on the show.
Welcome back to Melbourne. Welcome back to Burn City.
Yeah,
the 3K.
Man, it's my second home, man. Melbourne.
Yeah, pretty much. Does Perth have a Burn City like we? Because here everyone's like the 3K or Burn City.
Oh, we call it the 6K, and that's just like the whole kind of like Perth as a whole.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I guess it's kind of similar to this. Yeah, 3K, 6K.
Today you got a very special thing going on today with the NBL. Do you want to speak on that?
So we're doing the halftime. Well, we're opening the show, doing the halftime slot. NBL Melbourne Arena. Yeah. So Arena Talk. It's my first proper stadium, arena, whatever you want to call it, show. And it's huge.
Man, that's the set. We're gonna have up to 10,000 people.
Potentially up to 10,000 people. Minimum we're looking at 6,000, I'd say. Even then, that's some numbers, astronomical, bro. Man. But
that's dope, bro.
It's gonna be huge, bro. We're gonna have pyrotechnics come out at the first song. We're gonna have the guitar shredding on. We're gonna be wild. DJ Red Wolf's gonna be
Red Wolf's in there.
Yeah.
For all the listeners and people that are watching, the young team's in the background. We have our Red Wolf, Nick, and Julian. So big shout out to them.
That's it.
But before we jump into One Song, One Dream, your massive project that you're doing. Yeah. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to the beginning, back even before music. I want to know, as a child when you were growing up, in your household with an Australian Jamaican parent,
Yeah.
What's that like?
Oh, well, it's kind of, it sheds... I've always thought of it I've had the privilege to look into both worlds. I've had the black sort of way of being brought up, the Caribbean way of being brought up. Then I've had the very white Australian way of being brought up.
So you get the bit of both,
bit of both,
music-wise and
music-wise that's affected me. Also, just my personality that's affected me, the way I look at things, and my ability to kind of see both sides and be able to give empathy for both sides. And I can kind of relate a lot more. I feel like I have two kind of audiences I can relate to in my music as well. So yeah, that's huge, man. That's just me. That's who I am. Half Australian,
and then,
half.
when in terms of music, what were you listening to growing up?
A lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
When I really started getting into hip hop in probably late primary school, it would have been just Eminem, 50 Cent, and Biggie Smalls, Tupac, all kind of the 90s stuff is what I was listening to. I didn't really get big into my 2000s because being a 90s baby, and by the time I was in primary school or even early high school, it was that was Drake and Lil Wayne were on there Come Up, you know what I mean?
T-Pain was on there, Chris Brown.
There's a little bit of T-Pain, but yeah, it was more like Snoop Dogg, Biggie,
I feel you.
All that type of stuff is what really got me into hip hop.
Now, man, onto One Song, One Dream, the massive project. That's at one point that frame from doing one song a day.
Yeah.
And it I guess manifested into doing this whole project.
Yeah.
For the listeners that don't understand how great this is, he's doing it all. He's a genuine artist that does it now. They struggle to put out music every week or every month. He's doing it every week with a complimentary music video. Mm-hmm.
It's hustle, man. Well,
explain to the listeners what does that even look like? Your day to day, what's going on in your head, but more.
It's kind of Well, it's all stemmed from me just making a lot of music. So I was already making like bulk music, like you said, a song a day. At one point, halfway through this year, I was in the pocket with making tracks, and I was just, I'd wake up, I'd make a beat. I'd make a few beats actually, and by the end of the night, I would have kind of a rough demo of a track. I'd bounce it out, and I'd listen to it, and I'd have another song, and then it was just kind of. I found myself with a lot of music, and I knew that I couldn't just drop an album or a mixtape or whatever, because you know how it is being low key. No one's gonna sit through 8 songs, 12 songs.
They hear the first 2-3 songs of the album,
and like I've got like. I have my kind of like not mentors, the people I look up to, and I've looked at the methods, like Ross, for instance, that's dropping a song every week, and I was like,
I think he did it for like 87,
like 90 weeks or whatever, and I was like, damn, okay, I can do this as well. And also, it just kind of came down to, like we're really trying to be the biggest, and we're trying to be the best at what we do, so we got to do the actions that are going to lead us there. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna say we want one thing and then do another thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if we're trying to be the biggest artist and the biggest team or whatever we're trying to do, we have to put in the work.
On that, like you want to be the biggest artist. Like, what is the pinnacle of where you see yourself and the team in general? Like, they're making the biggest impact
in terms of my music.
How would you measure like the biggest impact, the most plays on a song?
It's not necessarily plays is like kind of an outcome. I feel like for me, I just want to do big arenas around the world. Any like particular like around the world. Any particular arena that you want to I'd
sell
love to
out?
do just like the Australian arenas for sure. Like Melbourne Arena, I'd love to do my own show there. Perth Arena. Just like the staple arena of every city in Australia would be like a good checklist.
Imagine the MCG full.
Yeah, exactly.
One day, 100,000 people.
That's it, man.
Oh,
that's it. I reckon I could do it, man. And like, around the world as well, big time.
Yeah. Now with music, when you're making these songs constantly, how do you block out like all those voices behind you, the ego, I guess, that says this is not ready, like this is not good enough?
The thing is, you never really block it out. That's the one thing. I think it's a bit of a misconception. Like you never can block it out.
Yeah.
It's just how you kind of what you put your focus on.
Yeah.
So it's like it's always there. Like I'm still always constantly going back and forth with my ego. Like, but I don't choose to let my ego take control of me.
Yes, definitely more like being self-aware.
I can be aware of it, and I can sometimes use it to my advantage. Sometimes I'll be like,
okay,
all right, like because your ego is the one that's going to tell you you are the best.
Yeah.
If you're constantly humble, you're never going to strike. That's one thing I've kind of been like, practicing. It's like humbleness is very important, but if you're always humble, you're never going to bite, and you need to take your bite when the time's right.
100%.
So it's never really like a case of blocking, like getting rid of your ego. It's a case of just when's it appropriate to use it. And being a rapper, you gotta sometimes use your ego. Like, you gotta.
I mean, it's competitive.
You gotta speak your shit.
Like,
and so focus. You gotta focus on. You gotta use your ego to focus on in the right things. So
what do you think? Like for creatives, what would be like a really good tool or advice to use? Maybe like meditating before like writing or something.
For me,
along those
the
lines.
actual process of creating the music is like a meditation.
Yeah.
I guess it's all kind of case by case for each artist.
Yeah, definitely. That's not artist in general with anything. Like,
I reckon you got to know yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And you got to know. I reckon a big thing is you got to have your system that works for you. So, for instance, just as an example, I know that no matter what happens, I'm gonna be all right.
I'm gonna be fine. Yeah.
And that's the system that works for me.
I go by the exact same thing. Yeah. I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And even when like I could get in like someone could like back up in my car and when I'm at Coles or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I genuinely won't snap it. I'll be like, oh, this happened for something. I could have like left 2 minutes earlier and then a massive truck hit me by it.
Exactly.
It's just perspective, bro.
Perspective. Like, and that's huge. It's like some people have, they believe in a God, or they believe that, like, some people are really practical with it. I just believe hard work is the answer. Like, whatever it is, it's just got to work for you.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like it just comes down to just knowing yourself. Like, everything happens for a reason. I know how much of a genius I am for me, and that's what matters. Like,
Yeah. Has
you got to be your biggest fan.
Has there already been a tough time or like a massive challenge where that's like challenged it? Like at a point, I mean,
and the only person who's really challenging it is myself. And that's the funny thing. It's like no one's ever challenged me except for me.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to the ego thing. It's like the only problem I've ever had with this music thing is just my own thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How about that? I want you to speak on that story of when the building burnt down before your show. You had one day.
That was a challenge.
That was a challenge.
That was
speak on that. Speak how that kind of went, because that's a wild. Wild
so
event.
we had so I dropped a mixtape and we're having a big party and performance for it, and we had a venue locked in, and we had tickets sold and everything, and you know, it was a big event. We had quite a few tickets sold, and everyone knew the venue. It was a pretty popular venue in Perth, and then we wake up. I think the event was on the Saturday, and I think it was the Friday.
Yeah.
We woke up and we receive a call or whatever. We just hear about the news. It was like on the news. And
I remember seeing it. And
the venue got torched, burnt down to shreds. And we'll just
got some haters on the young team, bro.
We don't know what it is. It's like, I was like, it's a bit ironic because I was planning to light the place up the night after, you know. But it was like, what the fuck? What do we do now? Because we had tickets sold. We're not in a position to really refund everyone because like we probably already used the money to like put down venue hire and all this. And the venue that burnt down was not really, you know, supportive of us. They were just like, oh well, you can't use it, sorry. And then so me, Julie, and Nick, the whole day, Friday, every single venue in Perth going in. Hey, what's up? I'm a hip hop artist. We got a show. Just walking in, old school style, shaking hands, talking. Every single venue in Perth. We didn't miss one venue out. And then we stumbled across. We went to the Indie Bar, which is like a well-known Perth venue, and we were talking to the manager there. We actually he was really kind of helping us out. And then we heard of this venue called Peaky Bodega, and it's this little not shitty, it was this little it's closed down now. It was like on its last leg, this little club like outside the city. We went in there and they're like, yeah, you can do it. It wasn't even a live performance. It was a little nightclub, a little house nightclub. We had to transform the whole thing in that day into like a set,
setting up, moving everything in,
stages, speakers.
That's wild, man.
We had to do and that's it. Like I had to do my own live sound. I'm like, and that's it. It's about kind of just having, you know, well, you have to know your knowledge. And it's good now because now we know. Like, I had to set up the actual speakers. And we all had to set up the stage.
And the reason that it becomes so hard is because for anyone that doesn't know, Jaycee is an independent artist, which means that there's no resources from record labels that are Jaycee.
No resources.
He just sits back and then it gets done for him.
Yeah.
The managers and the team grind to do it all.
Yeah.
All the connections, everything together. It doesn't pop out of thin air.
No, definitely not. Well, that's it. Like, we're really resourceful, you know, like every single job is in-house done. Like we all do it. Like we're all playing 10 roles at the same time.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge for, I guess, any independent artist in general? What do you reckon is the biggest challenge for them?
I think the biggest, it's hard. It's case by case. Some of the biggest challenges would just be simply making music. I feel like a lot of artists, their biggest challenge is making music.
Yeah. Like
there is way too many artists that will be working on like 5 tracks for the whole year.
Yeah.
Or 5 tracks for 2 years. And when they do make it, it's like, there's a reason why a lot of artists, their first album is considered their best album. Yeah. And that's way too common because it's like, what? I thought you're supposed to be getting better and better and better.
Exactly.
But they use up all their creativity in that first album, and then they're like, oh shit, like that shouldn't be a thing for at least for me, like a real artist. Well, not even real artist. Like, there's a competent artist.
I reckon there's as for real artists. I reckon honestly, majority of people can be an artist or rap, but it's where the artist chooses. Okay, I want to make a living out of this. I think that's the line where. Yeah, it's drawn where it separates between the artist between the people that are going big and actually want to make it and have an ambition to
definitely
grow.
Well, yeah, like you need to be all about it, you know, like you need to be prepared to 20 tracks and only release 5 because 5 is only up to your standard. And like a lot of the time, yeah, they just can't make music. Like, and it's honestly really weird. Like, you think a rapper could just like, you know, I don't know. It's weird to me because to struggle making tracks and that's your one job is to make tracks. Yeah.
So for you that does it like constantly, do you reckon there'll ever be like a day where you do like a song a day or anything like that?
I don't think I'll ever release a song a day.
Yeah.
I will make a song a day.
Yeah.
When I'm in the right headspace and the right kind of workflow, I can do that.
Do you reckon there'll ever be anyone to be able to do that?
You could do it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard to make like 365 songs and bag them all up. You would have to bag them up. You'd have to be at least 150 songs ahead.
Yeah, but still, that's why. But I think for you saying it like you're like, I could probably fucking do that. But for other artists, that's like unimaginable. They don't drop that in their whole whole career. They don't drop that many songs.
Yeah, it would be cool. I reckon if you already had a bit of a fan base as well, and they were just like, whoa, you know, following you day by day.
So I want to understand why you've started all this. What's the driving, like why are you doing this? Why have you built your young team?
The drive is because this is the only thing I want to do. You know, like this is literally my thing. At least at this point in time, it's like I just want to create great music. I want to perform great songs. I want to build an empire. Like the why is simply just because I feel like this is my purpose.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. It feels right. Like it feels right. You know, like
in there.
You don't need that big of a why except for because it feels right. That's literally can be a why.
Yeah.
People like do ridiculous things because it just feels right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
I started this.
Yeah,
it feels right. Exactly. I was like,
yeah,
it feels good. I don't know. It feels like the right thing to do in this current time.
That's it.
And it's needed. Like, I feel like it's needed in Australia right now.
Yeah.
I feel like Australia is going through like that, like a massive transition of like where the 90s was in American hip hop. That's honestly what I think is happening here. And we're living it as of now.
I think so as well.
And like there's so much sounds that are coming out.
Yeah,
the whole
it's crazy.
Whole sound is changing.
Yeah. It's nuts.
It's pretty good to see. But like where did you learn to become so independent? Like
man,
as that.
I don't know. I've always kind of been like this. Like even during like school and stuff, I've always had a mindset, and I thought it was just a normal thing. Like people just kind of think like, oh, you know, like I never thought I was gonna work for someone. I never, like during school when people would ask me like, oh, what job you want to, you know, that classic question. I never was like, you know what, I'm gonna get study and get a job.
Do you reckon that was like instilled by like maybe your like older brother or like parents or something like that?
I think it kind of comes down to just confidence. Like I just was like, I'm way too smart to just work for someone else. And it sounds a bit cocky, but it's like, I just knew, like, I was like, I'm way too talented, I'm way too smart, and I'm way too driven to just, you know, throw it on the bench. The only thing that would make me throw it on the bench is if I was just engulfed in like my ego and I was just like, you know what, like, this is the system. I gotta do
and just chill and just follow the system.
Yeah, but like I just wasn't having it, and I think the friend group we had during school was very important. We all kind of bounced off each other really well, and like my parents, big time. Like seeing, I don't know. I feel like once someone shows you what's behind, it's kind of a bit of a metaphor, but once someone shows you what's behind the door, you'll never like. You can't shut it, you know what I mean? I saw what it's like to live the life of being independent and entrepreneur and just fulfilling your dreams. And it was once I saw that, I was sold. Like I couldn't.
Like you can't go back.
Yeah, can't
go back.
Exactly. And we're in a day and age now where it's not hard to see what that's like.
Exactly.
Like you can just turn on your phone or
the internet exposes
consume a
it
bit of
all.
Content.
Like
so, I just feel like I find it weird how some people can look at. Like, people know there's, like, for instance, people know there's someone like Drake out there who's making $1 million a show and he's living his passion. People, and even if you're not passionate about music, say you're passionate about, like, sports, people know there's a David Beckham. Whatever you're passionate about, there's someone killing it.
There's someone that you can follow.
I find it weird how someone can be so inspired and so, like, idolize that certain individual who's killing it in their passion, and then somehow just still sit down and be like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, for me, I look at that and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Exactly, and I think that's what's happening now with Australian hip hop. Like, say like the like 1-4s and like the HP boys. I think that they've set a new tone for obviously all these rappers that come out, and
Definitely.
even like say like Manu Crooks and BYs being black, like they're setting a stage for people to follow, where people like where the youth
everyone, like I say, it's always way bigger than you think. Like, I don't know, maybe 100 people see this or 1,000 people see this, but we don't know how those people were that 100 people was affected. Like, I've had people message me being like, yo, you saved my life, or like, man, because of you I can finally rap, and like shit like that, and I have no idea.
That's why I think everything happens for a reason.
Those are the people that actually let you know. Think about all the people that will never give you anything, but they're still undercover listening. And like, I've never DM'd Eminem. I've never even said to Eminem that you've inspired me. But and that's the thing. Like, and imagine the people that are saying it to him, and then it just kind of goes to show that your biggest fan probably won't tell you that your biggest fan.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
It's always way bigger than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you like, without consciously doing it, you set like little like pills into people's heads, and like it hits their subconscious. They won't even know, and that could affect them in the long term. They could like turn out to be the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's crazy because when I do a show or whatever, I might have like 50 to 100 people show up, but then when I do like a post or whatever, I'm like, where's those 50 to 100? But it's like they're still with it. When I was doing a show, they were still at the front row singing the words, but it's like I had no idea who they were. They never let me know.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show, man, like, we don't know how we're affecting the world. We have no idea. We just got to keep doing what we're doing, and then it will just play out. And that's what I'm kind of coming into now. It's like, we don't know how big this really is. It all starts with something like this, like a podcast or me in the studio. Like, I make all my songs in my bedroom. Yeah. I make all my songs just on fucking a shitty computer with like a MIDI controller. We don't know how.
But it's still banging.
But then, and then before you know it, they're getting like, you know, 1 million streams or whatever across the board. Like, same thing here. Like, we don't know how big. You just got to plant as many seeds as you can.
Yeah, with the like your one of these days, did you reckon that was gonna be the most played song?
I knew, for me, it's like every single song I think
is a banger. It's like it's gonna like go up.
Yeah. But there's certain songs
you find yourself like in the studio, like, nah, we gonna make it like on Monday we're gonna fucking this is it, boys. Pack it up.
But it can be deadly as well, because you're like, this is the one, and then when it doesn't like blow up, you're like, shit,
because like you might have
like,
expectations.
Shit. But with one of these days, I just like every song. But one of these days, I knew was real special. Some of them I just know is extra special. Yeah. Because I'm just like, fuck, like. When I call it like an hour of power. Yeah. When the quicker I make the song, the better it is generally. Like, so what sometimes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And by that, I don't mean necessarily like polished off, but the quicker the idea comes to me. So for instance, like Proud or One of These Days, or some of my more kind of songs with more plays and streams, it's like they were generally made really quick. And by that I mean like the beat was straight in the mic. I had the melody down. I just had to fill in the blanks.
What's your writing process like? Is it like you come up with a bunch of concepts and then write those down and then go on from there? Like,
no, I don't have anything.
No. Whatever comes.
Well, I have ideas.
Yeah.
So what I do, like, I'm constantly having ideas, and sometimes I'll jot them down. Sometimes I'll just put them in the file in my head. Yeah. Like, I'm really like, I do a lot of just. Like, I don't do a lot of physical writing. It's a lot of it's in the head. But when it comes time, I don't know. Like, I'm never prepared.
That's why
I'm never prepared. It's weird.
You'd think it'd be like the complete polar opposite. I'm writing a song and music video every week. Like, you'd think it'd be like so set out, but
nah, it's not. Like, if someone was like, man, spit some bars now, I'd be like, fuck, all right, like, let's see. Like, I don't really have like shit written up in the vault necessarily. I have ideas, don't get me wrong, like I probably could, but it's more so when the beat's right, the vibe's right, it will just all come to me like that, and then I just have to quickly I have to quickly get it out before it's too late. don't overthink.
And I think like that's what a lot of artists struggle, creatives in general struggle with. They overthink the process of like, I have to get this perfect, or I have to get this beat perfect, and someone else has to look at it.
If I'm like, overthinking shit too long, it's weird because if I spend too long on a song and then I do end up releasing the song, I'll just subconsciously be like, I don't really like this song as much as
they're always trying to find like
people might love the song, but it's just like for me, I'm like, fuck, I spent like 2 weeks making this. Like it's not the same. But when I go in there and it's just, I'm just like, yep, got it. That's when even after I listen to it again, like I could listen to it forever and still have the same feel.
I find you like you're so in tune with yourself. Like, what do you reckon is your like both your biggest strength and biggest weakness? Not in like music wise, but
just in life?
In life in general, man.
My biggest strength is the ability to learn. Like I am a really fast, with the right things, I'm a really fast learner.
You're adaptable to.
I'm really fast at just picking shit up, and I'm really fast at I don't know. I'm just a good creator.
I reckon you have like a really good eye for even like the market. Like you made a song on like that Area 51 on YouTube.
Definitely.
You made like Lamello. Like I don't know anyone that does that. They pick up on like trends happening like on the internet, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a song on it.
Definitely, like,
and this is why you're doing like everything while you're doing.
And that's it. Like I can just pick it up easy, and I can just roll with it, and just creating a song around that. Like as soon as I saw Area 51 was trending, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna make a song about it. X-Files beat, chop it up, make a beat, boom, and I just like it all just kind of came to me like that. And like the Mellow Bowl song was made in 30 minutes. And that's like literally 30 minutes. Like we're all talking about it like, man, just like we got to, do something for the culture. Yeah. And I was kind of, at first I was like, you know what? Like I don't like forcing shit. If I get presented with an idea, I don't necessarily like it when people come at me saying like, do
like,
this,
you should
do that.
This. Yeah. You're like, oh, it doesn't really feel. Yeah.
But more or less the seed's been planted, so it's in my subconscious. And I wasn't even really planning to do that, do that song at that specific studio session I was in. Like, why do I mean that? Like that day. And it was made in 30 minutes. And I was just like, fuck, I just did it. I was just like, I was just like, okay, I got it now. Like I did it. So yeah, that's probably my biggest strength is just the ability.
And then what do you reckon your biggest weakness is? Like,
probably, what's the word? My biggest weakness would probably be expecting too much. Yeah. Expecting that.
I mean, it's very, like, for you, I find it's very, like I'm doing the most.
Yeah.
Why is...
Yeah, and that's it. And no one owes you shit. Like, I know the sayings and all the teachings and all that shit. Yeah. Like, entitlement's the worst thing ever. No one owes you shit. But still, like, my head will come in and be like, what the fuck? Like, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. So that's probably one of my biggest battles. But like,
I find I honestly have like a similar experience.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, you could have done like more, like, but I'm like, I tried so much, like, how could I have done more? And it's it's that voice in your head that's like, you can do more, like, you could have done it. Yeah.
Definitely. And like, that's kind of a driving thing as well. It drives you, it's a driving force, like, because I kind of want to prove it to myself as well. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, definitely. I'm like my biggest
and
judgment.
That's it. Like when I was talking to Kristen the other night, I was like, I just want to do this for me now. Like there's probably others, like it starts off, there's other factors kinda, but now it's like to the point where it's like, because I was saying it to actually one of my old mates, I was like, I didn't want to have to take it this far. But now that I have taken it this far.
But now that we're here, we might as well like, be the best in the game.
Like, I could have blown up off my third song and just been like, yeah, that music shit was easy. Like, now I can just kind of chill out, put a song out here and there. But I was all like, okay, so it was always locked in. I'm always going to be the biggest star in the world, regardless of the biggest star out of Australia. That's confirmed. It could have happened on my third song, and that would have been just like, yeah, easy. What's next, sort of thing. Like, I'm just going to chill now. But now I had to take it to the extent of like, I'm like 40 songs deep now. Now I had to take it, and I said to him, I was like, I didn't want to have to take it this far. Like this is, but I got to get it now.
Had to do it to him.
I got to get it now, and like I just have to do it for myself.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I know like it's funny because I've watched like tons of Russ interviews and like just like old Gary Vee and all that stuff. And I know exactly how they feel. It's like you got to really believe that everyone else is just
Nothing.
Well, not nothing,
but like
they just haven't heard it, or they're just crazy for not giving it to you yet.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I say I'm just
I
like,
think
how could you possibly? This is my mindset. How could you possibly listen to this song and not want to instantly save it? That's how I think. I'm like, every single song I put out, I'm like, how could you possibly hear this and then not want to like
that's what
go nuts
I
over
honestly
it?
think the same thing about like the whole project. Like, how could you not follow? Like,
Yeah.
even like, because I throw it out to a lot of artists. Like, yo, check me out.
Yeah.
How could you not like
Yeah,
follow on?
I don't
when,
get it. I honestly don't
when
get
so
it.
much is happening. Like,
Yeah.
like
And
history is being made. This is never done before.
Mhm.
No one's ever done this.
it's
Ever
crazy.
in music,
It
ever.
blows me away. I'm like, okay, like I understand some people might just like rock music or country music or whatever, but for the people that do like hip hop, or you don't even need to like every single song, but how could you not acknowledge it?
Yeah.
How could like, and then I just have to put it into perspective. I'm just like, you know what? I've only got like 600 views on this one. Like I understand like 60 people out of 600, 10%. That's pretty good. Like you got to put it into perspective.
And you're pretty widespread with your like your genre as well. It's not just like hip hop,
It's-
rap,
yeah,
hard
and that's
style
it.
beats. It's like you throw a bit in there, then you'll sing.
Oh, there's so much
and then
shit,
you
man.
got you pull out at the live show. You pull out a guitar. You're like, oh
Yeah,
damn, he's playing,
yeah,
this guy, man.
yeah.
He plays guitar
It's crazy,
too.
man. It's crazy. I that's another thing. I'm just like, man, I'm just making art. Like, I didn't even label myself as like a rapper or anything.
Yeah.
Like, I am literally just
Yeah,
making
when
art.
you introduce yourself to like everyday people, what's
I
how's that go?
usually say I'm a singer, rapper, producer, songwriter.
Yeah.
When I introduce myself.
And I'm doing the biggest project.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, I don't know. Songwriter is probably the right.
Yeah.
Songwriter, producer is like probably the way to go.
Yeah. So what are you doing outside of music when you're in the studio cooking up songs and doing the most, man? What's happening? You training or anything or?
Like I do a bit of I train, like I hit the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty breezy, man. Like I'm when I'm not making music, I'm kind of trying to take my mind off not making music.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it like you'll try and
crazy as
sit
that
with yourself,
sounds.
like I don't know, you'll stretch or something, be doing yoga, and then it'd be like I don't know, some random song
well,
idea will come into
it's
your
like
head.
when I'm not doing music, I'm really trying to not do music, because and by doing music, I don't necessarily mean just even creating it. I mean just like me just putting energy towards it, because I'm always thinking about it. So yeah, I'm pretty chill. Like when I'm I'll be with like my friends or with my girlfriend, and we just kind of do anything but make music.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like,
So I want to throw some some little quick fire questions to you, just like whatever comes to your head.
yeah.
You do you. But yeah. So what was your most fun music video to make?
Just so many videos. I got to be quick with these, hey.
Nah.
Like, is this one of those speed rounds where?
Yeah,
like,
we'll pick it up.
most fun would be One of These Days. It was pretty dope.
And the song that got the most hits, One of These Days.
Yeah.
That was
It's not necessarily my favorite music video, but that was fun. We took the Lotus out for a spin. It was really relaxed. We're on the beach. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I love those videos we shot like three. The day we shot One of These Days, we shot also Faded and Don't Make Sense. So we did 3 videos in 24 hours.
Damn.
So a lot of them are just like blurs to me.
Yeah, shout out to Just Play Media.
Yeah, Just Play
Damn,
Media.
man is killing it.
He's a prodigy, man. He's unbelievable.
He really is, man.
Unbelievable.
I'm keen to see him if he comes to. No, I'm just saying.
Oh man, that guy, hands down, he's gonna be huge in his field. He's gonna be one of the biggest to do it.
Yeah.
Like in terms of filming and music videos.
Going another one. What beyond music? What's your influence? Like not music, not like a Russ or like
as a person.
as a person, like Gary Vee, for instance.
Yeah, Gary Vee, big time. Just anybody living their best life is an influence to me.
Yeah.
I could look at someone I don't know anything about, and they could just tell me what they're doing, and I'm just like, man, that's inspirational.
Yeah.
If you're doing your passion and you're happy, that's that's my goal.
Yeah, and if you had to have like a conversation with anyone, like both like past or future, like
A conversation with anyone.
like maybe like in future though, there's a person that does one song every day. Like, would you want that conversation? Like
With them?
yeah, or like I don't know, a conversation with like
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls, like
Yeah.
anyone that
Yeah, it'd probably be like an hour conversation.
that's a big one. That's a big
Yeah.
one. You have to like think about that. I'm
Who
still
would you
thinking.
do?
Oh, like before it used to be Gary Vee, but then
He's already so transparent.
yes, and then like I remember I went to his massive conference, and I like he's like, all right, it's Q&A time, like come up, and I was like, I should go ask a question. Like,
Did you ask him?
Yes, my boys were like, come on, go ask a question. I was like, damn, I don't have a question though. Like this guy's.
You don't have a question.
I was like, I genuinely can't think of a question right now because he does like he said it all.
Yeah.
And then I was like, like a deep feeling was like within me was like, go up, just
Yeah.
go up. Even if you don't have anything, think of something in line.
Yeah.
So I was just like maybe 4 or 5 spots in line. And I was just like, all this like nervousness was building up, and I was like, what the fuck? I still don't have a question.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 behind.
So you're just thinking.
I was just thinking, I was like, what do I really like want to know, like ultimately? And then at that time, I was thinking of doing like podcasting and like working with artists in the music industry. And then I went up there and I was like, Gary motherfucking V. And like,
Is there a video online of that? I swear I saw this.
Oh, yeah, actually, there is. I think
I didn't know if I saw you in it. I might have. I watched.
there's a few clips from that.
The Melbourne.
The Melbourne show that have gone like super viral.
Me, my man. That rings a bell though.
But I went up there. The crowd like pissed themselves because everyone else was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Ryan." And just like ask, and then everyone was super selfish about their like questions too. And I honestly met D-Rock, the photographer, and he's like, you're awesome. Like you're the only person to not ask a question for you.
Yeah, right.
And the question was, I was like, beyond the truth, when speaking to like an artist or like wanting to make them grow, like what's your advice on that? Like what would you ask, or like how would you support them? He's like, it's funny the way you ask that. It's like, because you've already answered it. Like the truth is everything.
Yeah.
The truth is everything. And I believe that. And like, that's why I reckon you're going to make it.
Yeah.
Because it's your truth. You're not
Yeah.
spin bars about
Exactly.
things you haven't done.
It's
and
authentic,
I think, and that sits with me like super tight. And like, it's like really like, I just keep seeing it happen. I'm like, this guy's making it because he's got the truth. It's not he doesn't have a, like, he doesn't have a persona on Instagram where he's like different to where he is in real life. This guy's like,
exactly
like you, man. I find like you're humble, like in person.
Yeah.
To not just online. Like
exactly.
It's not like
and people
I'm all wise online, and then when you come in person, oh, what up, Jay?
Yeah.
Can I get a photo? You're like, oh man, nah, bro, I got shit to do. Fuck off. Like, like genuinely.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. It's like when you do you can't lose. You know. Yeah. You're your only competition. That's generally as simple as it gets.
Yeah. I had a fun question. You did a podcast with Red Wolf over here.
Yeah.
You had a theory on evolution.
I
watched that. That was hilarious, bro. Speak on that.
Took that down though.
Speak on that. What is the theory of evolution?
It's more than a theory on evolution. It's kind of these guys are cracking up behind the camera. No, well, what I was saying was, I just feel like humanity's in a way right now where we've got to all make a conscious decision to change the way we live. You know, like I feel like the way we're living now is not sustainable. Yeah. And we're doing a lot of dumb shit. Like as humans, as a whole, like I'm even guilty of it sometimes. Like we're doing a whole lot of dumb shit that we're taking the earth for granted. I just feel like as a whole, we need to start loving the earth, loving ourselves more,
loving each other
before the earth just goes, fuck you guys, get off. And it's a big conversation in itself, but it comes down to just, you know, like just look at like being a bit more aware of our surroundings and having a bit more love in our hearts for like people, the earth, everything around us. At the end of the day, man, like we all forget that we're on a fucking planet right now We all forget, like, if you want to get deep with it, like, we all forget we're on a fucking space rock. Floating around.
Yeah, genuinely, we're genuinely floating.
We're all caught up in shit like this. Like, oh, I gotta do this. We gotta film a podcast.
When you think of your problems, anyone that thinks of their problems, when you think of them as a problem, like look at them into perspective. Like,
and that's it, man. And we all have. I feel like as humans, as animals on this planet, we all have like a duty to care for each other and the planet. And if we don't, it's just gonna fuck up, man. Like, it's the same thing. If you neglect something, eventually it explodes. Like, and I honestly feel like to an extent that's what's gonna happen if we don't. Same way people go global warming. That's a prime example of not giving a fuck, and then it backfiring.
With yourself and like these deep thoughts, have you ever had like a moment of everyone defines it differently. Like I call it self-awakening. People call it paradigm shift. People call it an epiphany. Like, have you had any of those moments with music?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, like even just doing One Song, One Dream was kind of a moment like that.
Yeah.
You know, even like building this team here was a moment like that. You know, like it all fell into place, but you had to everything starts with a decision.
Yeah.
So I like to think I'm having moments every other day or every day, you know, where I'm just like, whoa, what the hell? Like,
so it all starts with like an intention, and then that decision is what changes it. Yeah, I agree. And what's the biggest lesson you've learned through this whole process?
It would be just trust.
Yeah.
You know, you got to trust it.
Trust the process.
Yeah, well, like the process is one thing, but you just got to trust in general. Like, you got to trust yourself. You got to trust that. Like, the only reason we're doing this is because we trust we have another hour after this. If we didn't trust the fact that there was more time on the clock, we would not be sitting here.
Yeah.
If we didn't trust the juice company that was good juice, I would not be drinking it. I'd be like, fuck that. Everything comes down to trust.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I fucking learned. Like, and that's the one thing everyone's got to, you know, whatever.
Then what would you like? Would you say that same for creative artists that are struggling now? Like, just trust the process, keep going.
Yeah, you got to trust yourself. You got to trust that, you know, you're gonna fucking whatever your goal is. You got to trust that it's gonna happen. Yeah. Otherwise, why would I be making music if I didn't trust that I could do it? I didn't trust that I was gonna turn into something. It's like, why are we doing anything? You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah. Events.
If you don't trust it.
Alright. I want to plug your socials, man.
Let's do it.
You can find him on Jaycee.
That's it.
Search Jaycee Music on Google. Just Play Media. You can follow Red Wolf, Nick, Julian.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to plug in or shout out?
Shout out Rolling Up Entertainment, of course. This is the fucking platform in the Burn City. Shout out, like you already said, all the team. You know, Andrew for sure. Just Play Media. Check him out. Check out the YouTube channel. Just Jaycee, Jaycee. That's where you'll find all the videos, every single thing.
Shout out Young Team.
Shout out the team, Young Team. Shout out the fans, the supporters.
Before we leave, like Young Team, where did that start?
It's a team, man.
It's a team. It's a community. How? I think it's so important to have a community base. Like every artist needs to build.
You need to include everyone. Like, people forget that people who are just general fans are a part of the team.
Yeah. They don't do it. Yeah. People don't realize like an artist doesn't do it alone.
No, not at all. Like, everyone's a team member. So Young Team's just like a way of me going, you know what? Well, and it's about the energy we all bring, you know, like we're young, and by young it means current, and by current we mean like the standard for what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You know? So that's it. It's the standard, man, the standard team, bro.
Alright, well, thanks for rolling up. Thanks to all the viewers and listeners for pulling up today. I appreciate it a lot for being the first guest on the podcast. I hope you've stuck through. Just some peace and love. Let's roll up.
That's it.
Just recording. Yeah, it's just recording.
Yeah, it's ready to go. That'll clip. Hey.
Sound check for the night.
Yo.
The curtains.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well,
My God, bro. We're at the Rolling Up podcast. My man Daniel. What's up, bro?
What up, man?
You put it on for the team. Let's see that sign.
Get that sign out
We got the fruits, the juice, everything. Let's get it.
Shout out to the goat.
Let's go.
Let's get it.